Not astrology majors.
What? Oh no. Today we're going to be looking at another one of Veritasium's videos. Specifically, this one saying, do people really understand the scale of the universe? This thumbnail looks pretty funny. Scale of the universe is a fundamental concept within nuclear engineering and within nuclear physics. Crazy how really small things produce a really large amount of energy. I wonder how many people really know. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tyler Fultz. I'm a nuclear engineer with a little over 10 years of experience within the commercial nuclear power industry. From engineering to operations to emergency response. I don't claim to know everything there is nuclear, but I can certainly share some knowledge. Let's check this out. Hopefully I get these questions right.
Understand the scale of the universe?
Damn, really? That's okay.
This task is going to seem ridiculously easy.
Rank these things from smallest at the top to biggest on the bottom.
That's
But
awesome.
sometimes you have to ask the question no one would bother to in order to figure out what people are actually thinking.
This is really gonna put my astronomy skills to the test. So,
Moon, I don't know, moon.
Yeah, I'd say moon is probably the
I'd say
smallest.
stars are smallest.
But the sun is a star.
This is like a science.
The sun is
I'm
a
gonna say
star. Good
planets
question.
are the smallest.
I'll say planet
Wow.
might be the top of the line.
Is the sun bigger than the moon?
It depends on the planet, right?
It does, but as a general category,
Stars.
I like that. Yeah. I guess technically you could have a solar system where something considered a moon could be larger than something that could be considered a planet, but as a general category, yeah, planets are bigger. Most examples I can think of are in Star Wars, with Yavin being the moon of a gas giant being comparable in size to Earth. And that's just based on it having similar gravity that you see in the movie.
Then moons.
And then there's stars
yeah.
around the planet.
The sun is a
Stars
star.
around the planet?
Yeah.
It is.
You think this one's next? I trust you.
Because we're talking about a galaxy, bro. We're talking everything.
You looking at the galaxy too. I'm over here
I
like-
wonder how many people are just messing with him. I don't know. Or like how many people recognize him, because Veritasium is pretty popular, but he might intentionally be looking for crowds that might be one of his screening criteria. If people know who he is, then he might not survey them.
Okay.
I think it's this one and then this one.
You're right.
You can.
Wait, no.
Unless you believe in the multiverse, then you know.
You're taking this like four-dimensional chess level.
I think
Dimensional
the moon would be
chess.
bigger, no?
I mean, you think, right? Because like it looks bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this supposed to be like a science lesson?
Like there's definitely some science to this.
Okay.
I can tell he's trying so hard not to want to just say, no, this is how it is, but this is really funny.
Not astrology majors.
What? Oh no. No. Astrology would be, he would have a board with like the calendars, and they would say which sign points to which month or set of days. I don't actually think they divide evenly. I don't know much about astrology. I know a lot more about astronomy than astrology. One other variant of this I've heard is confusing cosmology with cosmetology. Those are pretty different too.
So what is a moon? Like how's a moon different from a planet?
Okay, that's the right answer.
The collection of dust, maybe?
The way that they come about in astrology and like the, I don't know, like.
The astrology, I'm cringing so hard at that. Man, and this is with stuff that a lot of people, at least people who regularly view this sort of stuff, consider to be fairly straightforward. Can you imagine? I'm curious what people's reaction would be for a board with this that has words like quark, neutrino, neutron, atom, nucleus. Going that far in the other direction, I wonder if people would even know what half of those words mean, assuming, surveying a similar group of people. It's crazy.
Meteors.
Planets is like human life. Already exists.
Human
or
life.
potentially can exist.
And a planet has its own, like, I don't know. I feel like a planet
Atmosphere.
is capable of having its own atmosphere or something.
And then the atmosphere of the moon and the planet are completely different.
Whether or not it has like an atmosphere.
I'm sure he's gonna say it, but moons orbit planets and planets orbit stars.
I get why some people would think this, because the Earth has an atmosphere while our moon has essentially no atmosphere. But Titan, Saturn's largest moon, actually has a thick atmosphere, while Mercury has no substantial atmosphere. So if having an atmosphere isn't what makes a planet, then what is it?
You don't know if the moon has people.
There's a bit of a misconception about the word atmosphere, and I think that's partially because it's a unit of measure for pressure, as in the layer of gases that envelop a planet, but it doesn't have to have an atmospheric pressure of 1 atmosphere or greater. It's funny when you use two different words like that.
It could.
You think the moon could have people on it?
There could be moon people. We never know.
I'm thinking
Wow.
like orbits or something.
There were people on
I
there.
think natural satellite is the term used, so you'll always have moons around a planet. You can't see a planet around a moon.
There you go.
How many planets do we know of?
I don't actually know the answer to that. If you're talking about the solar system, there's 8 following Pluto's demotion, even though I learned at 9 when I was in elementary school. But as far as how many exoplanets we've discovered, probably on the order of thousands. I'm sure I'll annotate how close that was.
I don't know.
Well, guess?
Let's see. 7, 8.
7 or 9.
7 or not? Interesting.
I think a planet has to be a certain size to be considered a planet, because if you look at Pluto, they just say it's not a planet because it's too small.
Pluto doesn't count as a planet anymore.
Pluto's technically not a planet.
Everyone
That's
knows
a
the
dwarf.
first.
It's interesting. More people know about Pluto not being a planet than the actual number of planets. I think I would have lost that bet. Yes, because that whole Pluto thing went so viral.
Pluto.
Because everybody loves Pluto.
When Pluto was discovered in 19...
I actually remember when I was, I think in the 2nd or 3rd grade, we just pick a planet and then make a little like trifold poster and do a little presentation on that. And me and a partner picked Pluto, and little did we know that we had such a narrow window before Pluto would get demoted.
It was hailed the 9th planet, but it quickly became clear that Pluto was different. The real nail in the coffin came on the 5th of January 2005 when astronomers discovered Eris, an object in the Kuiper Belt that's around 30% more massive than Pluto. Similar large objects had already been discovered, and more were likely to follow.
Dwarf planets.
So scientists faced a choice: either add a whole bunch more planets or demote Pluto.
Also, when I was a kid, we never talked about the Kuiper Belt. It was just the asteroid belt. And beyond Pluto was effectively beyond the solar system. But then again, elementary school.
In 2006, the decision was made, and a new definition for a planet was established.
You should just, get over it. Pluto had it coming from the beginning.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Our moon has 5 times the mass of Pluto. So just get over it.
Was our moon a planet?
No, it's a moon.
To be a planet, an object now had to satisfy 3 criteria.
Oh, here we go.
First, it must orbit the sun. Second,
In the solar
it must
system,
have enough
sure.
self-gravity so that it's round or almost round. And third, it must be gravitationally dominant and cleared out its neighborhood. Pluto satisfies the first 2 criteria, but not the third.
Oh, because it's kind of binary with Charon, or Charon, however you pronounce it.
So now we're back to the set of planets without Pluto.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Oh, it's 8.
Nice!
Props to him for not taking the obvious joke when pronouncing it as Uranus. Good on him. I wasn't expecting that.
Named them all. Bonus points. How many planets outside the solar system?
Oh, here we go.
Ooh, maybe around a couple hundred to 1,000, maybe? Probably a couple million.
It's going to be on the order of multiple billions, but as far as what we've discovered, I'm still thinking thousands.
Probably more than that. Yeah, probably more than that.
I mean, in terms of the number that we know is about 5,000 right now.
Okay.
That have been identified, but you're right. There's many more.
Yeah.
But we just haven't seen them yet, so we don't know. So the moons are the smallest. They go around the planets. Planets go around the stars. What makes a star a star?
Kind of like a dead planet, right? Like it's.
Ooh, the dead planets turn into stars.
Emitting heat.
Like little gas things.
That would be our good old friend nuclear fusion. I've had some interesting debates with people that prefer solar over nuclear, and basically just said, you do realize you're supporting nuclear fusion, just in a very lame, inefficient way. Very, very long range. They didn't appreciate that too much.
And they explode all the time, and we don't even see them.
I mean, supernovas are a thing, and they can be observed, so And if you're looking on the span of a galaxy or throughout the entire universe, then all the time throughout the universe's history, I guess that's technically right.
I don't know where they come from. Can you tell me?
If you have a bunch of just like gas, as you say, like hydrogen, helium, and that all kind of clumps together,
Fusion.
it forms a star. And then, like you say, there's like fusion in the middle, the explosions in the middle that are giving out light and heat and stuff like
That's
that.
not a bad explanation.
You just taught me something new. I didn't even know that.
And there you go. Doesn't it take 8?
That's interesting because she said she didn't know that, but she kind of took in a few of the bits and pieces somewhere. It just kind of lets us know that I think we know more than we realize. And there's a lot of stuff that gets absorbed subconsciously that she might not have had that in front of her. It's kind of fascinating to observe.
To fill the sun?
A million Earths.
A million Earths. I got it wrong. Okay, I'm stupid.
No, but like it's a lot, right?
Here's one way to put this in perspective. In our solar system, there are 8 planets, hundreds of moons, millions of asteroids, and more.
But in terms of mass, all that only makes up 0.14% of the mass of our solar system. The other 99.86% of the mass is the sun.
I'm noticing a parallel here because it's a similar-ish proportion between the amount of mass in an atom of its nucleus versus the electrons. The nucleus is responsible for virtually all the mass. The sun is tiny compared to the actual range of the sun's gravity that affects all of its planets and moons and everything. One other analogy for the atomic one is you can have an entire baseball field. The nucleus is a mosquito on second base in terms of size, but that much of the mass. It's kind of funny.
That is just how much bigger and more massive the sun is.
Moon smallest, then planets, then stars.
There we go.
Well, what is a galaxy? Like, what is that?
A group of planets in, I'd say, a certain amount of proximity.
Like the solar system, like the system of planets. So like just how we have our solar system is what makes the galaxy.
Ton of stars, moons, and planets in together.
It's actually not bad. I don't actually know the official one, but it's all going to be lumped around one center of gravity where all the solar systems orbit around. And it's really just a massive collection of dust and gases, mostly in terms of stars, planets, dust, black holes. But they're all concentrated and it makes up a defined structure. I don't actually know if there's a minimum size requirement.
Makes the galaxy?
Maybe just a collection of like solar systems.
So how many is a collection of solar systems? How big is a galaxy?
Interesting how big. In terms of stars, I'm thinking triple-digit billions, so 300, 400 billion stars. And as far as length, its major axis about 100,000 light years. But I don't think a galaxy needs to necessarily be that big to be defined as a galaxy. I mean, there are some galaxies way, way bigger than that, on the order of millions of light years across. They may actually be more defined by the empty space, the voids in between galaxies, the deep intergalactic space.
Stars.
Help.
Wait, I don't know.
Phone a friend.
60,000.
Millions, I'd say millions.
Tens of millions of stars, perhaps?
How many stars in a galaxy? Roughly. Ballpark.
I like this guy.
Probably hundreds of millions.
Million? Billion?
Got a few more orders of magnitude.
Oh, you are way off.
100 billion.
Oh my God, crazy. You said 60. 100 billion?
100 billion stars.
Damn, really? That's okay.
The number of stars in
I
a
like
galaxy,
this guy.
that can vary depending on the size of the galaxy, but like
Yeah.
100 billion, 200 billion, 300 billion, 50 billion, like that's like kind
Okay,
of the ballpark
but
numbers
the
for most
average
galaxies.
is 100 billion.
Yeah,
Average is 100. Interesting.
right?
I didn't know that.
They're huge. There's a funny question. Are there more trees on Earth or stars in our galaxy?
Oh, that's one of those silly interview questions. I don't actually know. There's a lot of trees on Earth. You got like the Amazon and all that. But I've heard some of those, like, how many windows are in New York City? And then it's like, well, do you count the buildings or do you count all the cars? I don't know the answer to that one either.
I'm now thinking about like a math problem where it's basically you have to find, I guess, the whole entire surface area of that.
The answer is, I'll save it.
It's different.
There are more trees on Earth than there are stars in the
3 trillion. Okay.
galaxy, in our Milky Way galaxy.
You know what? Figures, you know.
So a galaxy is a huge collection of stars, planets, gas.
Though presumably there are some galaxies that would have over 3 trillion stars, just not ours. Ours is one of the smaller ones.
Dark matter, and other objects, all bound together by gravity.
And then what is around the Milky Way galaxy?
More galaxies.
There are more galaxies, but they're kind of far away. So what's between
Space.
us and those other galaxies?
Void.
Like all types of vastness, you know, supernovas.
Dark matter?
Types of vastness. I like that.
You know, this is the thing that I find nuts, and one of the things I wanted to see if people know. But like, the Milky Way is like one galaxy, but it's huge.
Right.
It's like 100,000 light years across. That's pretty big.
Okay, I got that one right.
You know what I mean? But then around us, there's nothing.
Oh, wow.
You're looking for
Basically
voids?
nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the continents, right? You have a continent, but then around it, like, there's all this ocean. And then there's like more galaxies. And then there's nothing. And then more galaxies and nothing. More galaxies and nothing.
But this animation is not to scale. Really, it should look more like this. The distances between galaxies are enormous, typically millions of light years.
If you zoom out further, you find that
Yeah, they're far apart, but they can crash into each other. I think we're scheduled for a collision with Andromeda in several billion years from now.
galaxies are grouped together in clusters, and those clusters make up even larger superclusters, all separated by enormous voids.
Okay.
And you know
it
how
was
many
voids.
galaxies there are in the universe?
I'll take a guess and say like 20 something.
I like all these. I like this idea. It's good to get some perception. I don't actually remember this. I'm sure it's came up, but I'm thinking, again, triple-digit billions that, at least within the observable universe, but I could be off.
How many galaxies in the universe?
If I know.
12? I don't know. Is that like close?
It's more.
20?
Much more.
Oh, much more.
I'm gonna say 100.
More than hundreds.
Thousands?
This is great.
More than thousands.
Oh my gosh.
10,000.
10,000?
10,000?
Said more than thousands.
I mean, 10,000 galaxies, but each galaxy's got 100 billion stars.
16,482.
16,482. That's, I think people are using Price is Right type strategies. Not wanting to go over. Because they think it might be like 20,000, but they're not so sure.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Millions?
I'm still thinking hundreds of billions.
1 billion? Or is that too small?
1 billion galaxies, each one with 100 billion stars.
A lot of stars.
I'll say 10 billion that we know of.
What are you gonna say?
The answer is, how many galaxies in the universe? About. Starting at 100 billion.
What?
Okay, it's 100 billion again. Okay, all right. I was kind of guessing. I thought it might have been trillions. Part of it is observable universe, and we're dealing with kind of some weird stuff here.
Really? About 100 billion galaxies.
Holy, seriously?
Yeah. About 100 billion. Dang, weird.
Oh man.
It is huge. 100 billion are observable.
And these are just galaxies.
These are galaxies. Each galaxy then has about 100 billion.
If he's going to ask how many are in the unobservable universe, I haven't got a clue.
Okay.
Right?
That's mind-blowing a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like most people don't know this scale of the universe, and that's what I'm out here to talk about.
Mhm.
That's why I wanted to be like, it's so much bigger than almost anyone thinks.
Right.
In fact, there could be...
Yeah, and then you could go the other direction by talking about things in terms of how many atoms, how many nuclei.
And more, because 100 billion galaxies is a conservative estimate. Some believe there are up to 2 trillion galaxies in the observable universe.
Okay.
So it's huge. And between all these galaxies, nothing.
Nothing.
What a wacky universe.
Is he going to ask how many nothings there are or how many voids there are? I don't even know how you'd measure that.
And around each star, there might be on average about 6 planets.
Wow.
So you can think about 100 billion times 100 billion times
Is he going to get
6,
into the Drake equation?
roughly. And that's conservative.
Okay.
Kind of like number of planets maybe in the universe.
Mhm.
So it's insanely huge.
Yes. That sounds.
How many aliens
That
there
is
are.
actually. Wow.
I feel like it makes me less stressed because it's just a blip in the system, man. Nothing's ever that deep.
So the universe is insanely huge.
And we're incredibly
Just a
small.
blip.
I got you.
How does that make you feel?
Very
Think
small.
about the size of it.
Very small.
I don't know. It doesn't make you feel that small.
No,
Because there's not.
You still feel pretty big.
I don't feel big, but you know, I still feel like this Earth in particular.
You know, it makes me feel, and Kurzgesagt did an interesting video on that while there's a lot of stuff bigger than us, there's also a lot of stuff smaller than us. If you think about how many cells, molecules, DNA strands, atoms, quarks, beams of light, Planck length. I can tell why he went with this analogy, by the way, because I think if you made a sandwich board with all those things on, everyone would be like, what? Oh, what even is that? Because a lot of that stuff, and I'm not saying people are ignorant, it's more of there's just a lot of certain aspects that are either not taught or not taught with enough refresher things that a lot of people might have heard it once offhand, like in high school or something, but based on what they've done, they probably just haven't experienced anything that would require you to remember some of that stuff. It was kind of like that one woman he showed who could recall a few things about how a star worked, but couldn't quite bring it to her forefront when asked the direct questions, because you picked up on a lot of that, but she might not have known quite how to phrase it until this, which is one interesting thing. And actually it kind of shows just how smart and how much we pick up on as humans throughout society. And I actually think what I'm learning from this exercise is we really know more than we think we do, and just need a little bit of help in putting all the bits and pieces together. Let me know if you think differently.
I like learning.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for being open to learning, because that's so important.
The thing that people are worried about is making mistakes, but you can't learn without making mistakes a lot of times.
Making mistakes and failing, I would argue, is a skill. Learning how to fail fast and fail forward, that is some serious learning. And plus, it builds up resilience, so you're less fragile when you encounter trouble or failure. It's a much more uplifting video than I initially thought it would be. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.